Hello everyone, I am Dr. S. Manasa, Assistant Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So today I am going to talk about the factors affecting for gender discrimination. So what are the factors that are affecting the gender discrimination? One is illiteracy and child marriage and the social evil and job segregation, unemployment, a lack of bodily autonomy, and discrimination against the girl child, lack of legal protection, and poor medical care. These are some factors that are responsible for gender discrimination. So coming to the first factor, that is nothing but the illiteracy. So illiteracy is nothing but um, the people, how many are getting educated for a particular area or the place. So illiteracy is the one of the most responsible factor for gender inequality or the gender discrimination. So according to the 2011 census of India, the literacy level in the India is 74.404%, in which male literacy is 82.14 and female literacy is 65.46. So the female literacy is high when compared to the female illiteracy is high when compared to the male illiteracy. So the male who are getting educated are more than compared to the women who are getting educated, because the female children going to the school at the early ages are very less compared to the male children. And the next factor is child marriage. So one of the most worried factor in the social discrimination or the society is the child marriage. Although we are in a developed country and moving towards the higher end of the inventions and then development to technology, but still there are things such as child marriages are there in our India, where the girls are allowed to get married at very younger age, though they are not at the age of their marriage. This proves the pattern for their overall development and have a negative impact on their health too. Because at very early age, the woman or the girl children are allowed to get married and they have the work and the physical and mental health is not fit for their marriage. And the physical and mental health is spoiled at very younger and tender age. And the next factor that is affecting the discrimination is the social evils. These social evils like dowry system or sati system are also responsible for the low status of the woman. So these are factors where the woman is discriminated. She is treated low. So if we can see here, the one woman worldwide has experienced either the factors. These are the factors that are affecting the gender inequality. So here first is the violence against the women. So what is that violence factor? So women worldwide has experienced either physical or the sexual violence, mainly by the intimate partner. So 1 in 3. This is a very big count if we can see. And the next one is the work. They have unpaid, unrecognized. So the domestic workers are among the most vulnerable group in the global workforce, and that is making one up to 83% of the domestic work worldwide. So the most of the domestic workers are being women. So this is making that they are much engaged in the unrecognized, unpaid, non-reproductive status of the work, but they are not being recognized for their service. And education. So this is the one of the prime factor that is more a problem, means because of which the gender, because of the gender inequality, the education is not proper to the all the girl childs. So here the women with more than 12 years of education are very less. The risk of maternal death is 2.7 times higher among the women and the girls with no education. So as the mothers being not educated, the death of the, means maternal death is more in case of the uneducated women compared to the educated girl. So many, in many of the systems or the cultures, the woman girl child not easily allowed to go to the school as soon as they get the age of the school. And though they are allowed to go to the school after maximum up to 12th standard or the 10th standard, they are allowed to study. Then they later on get allowed to get married or not allowed to go for the higher educations, thinking that the parents mindset is in such a way that after, if the girl is getting higher educated, then we should search for the boy having higher more education than him. For that we need more money, and then we should give the, it is like it is increasing again the marriage expenses also. So with that concise mindset, many of the illiterate parents are not allowing their children to go to school or either to not to study the higher education. And the another factor that is influencing is another factor for gender inequality is the influence. The globally women are make up only 20% of the parliamentarians. So that is the influence of their surroundings on them. So you being girl should not go for education, or you being girl should have learned the things to be done at home, and you being girl should take care of the children and the family, and you should not allow to go out. So these kind of influences that society is forcing upon them is making their mindset so too weak, so that they are influenced by the things and they are stick to the whatever words that are told in the family or the society. So coming to the another factor, that is discrimination against the girl child. So why are the girl is treated separate from a boy? So this is a main question that is carrying the major problem of the gender discrimination. Though being both are same, so both children, then people will start looking girl something else and the boy as something else. So this kind of discrimination at their very tender ages is giving them to not to grow up in their career or the passion what they want to do. So the girl child is not treated properly in the family. This is the first and foremost factor. It started from the family. People still prefer the birth of a boy rather than a girl. Though girl being a mother, being again a woman, she don't want to give birth to the girl again, and she want a only boy. So this kind of discrimination starting from the mother, like where the child has to be there in her womb. So this kind of discrimination already has started before the birth itself. The girl child is basically trained for household work only. Even today, female infanticides infanticide is a common social event. So people are killing their girl childs. That is becoming a common social evil. So the next factor is job segregation. So one of the cause for the gender inequality within the employment is division of the jobs based on their gender. So in most societies, there is an inherent belief that men simply better equipped to handle certain jobs, but not the females. So though they have the equal capabilities or they have the equal talents to do, it is belief that men will be doing things better for certain jobs rather than the women, which is not practically true. Most of the time, these jobs pay the best to the men rather than the female women. So, though both are allowed to carry the same work with equal timing and equal hard work, where men are paid higher than the women. So, this is kind of looking different at the men and women is also the cause for the discrimination of the gender. So this discrimination result in the lower income for the woman. So where she is treated lower than a man. And the next factor is a lack of legal protections. In many countries, there is a lack of legal protection. I mean, is the harassment in the workplace, school, or in the public places. So these places are becoming unsafe, though being the primary stage where they had to go are becoming very unsafe and without any protection. The women frequently have to make decisions that compromise or limit their goals. Either she has to stop to go to that place, or she should compromise with that. Okay, we have to move, otherwise there is no option of doing this. So this is the compromise. Either she has to sacrifice or go with agreeing the things whatever are happening. And the next one is lack of bodily autonomy. According to the World Health Organization, over 200 million of the women who don't want to get pregnant are not using the contraception. So, because of giving birth to the children, and in some religions or some in customs, they go on producing the babies where the mother's health is literally it is coming very down, and she will face a lot of health issues like anemia and the lack of the calcium or something, and the woman only will be taking care of all the children, then forgetting about her health. So this is what happening, and people, though they don't want to get the kids but still not using the contraception or the methods because of the fear of the society or the lack of awareness. So there are various reasons for this, such as either lack of options or limited access or the culture or the religious opposition. So they are not allowed to have the some protection. So they, like people will be saying like like how many kids they will produce also, it is fine, but what about the health of the mother, that is getting spoiled there, so no one is bothered. On a global scale, about 40% of the pregnancies are not planned, and while 15% of them do end in abortion, and 38% result in birth. So, this high case of not having, so this is resulting in almost 50% of abortion. So, the unplanned, unknown, the lack of education or the awareness about the things is leading to such a huge loss. These mothers often become financially dependent, on another person or the state losing their freedom. So in concentration of for taking care of the kid or the family, they sacrifice themselves, and then in order to take care of the children, so they have to depend on the other person, and they lose their own freedom, and they are not then after few days they themselves will not willing to go to perform the job or their own passion work. So this is what happening. They are energetically becoming very weak and mentally very weak, uh, the health is not stable, but no one is concerned about this factor. And the next one is the pure medical care. So lack of the medical care for the women. Women receive low quality medical care than the men. This is linked to the other gender inequality reasons, such as again lack of education, lack of job opportunities, which result in women being in poverty. So when in being in poverty, they have a poor medical care, or they didn't bother about their health. They are likely to be able to afford, less likely to be afford for the good health care. So instead they focus on their family, husband or the children, but they forget to focus on their medical health. And because of the lack of the some awareness also, and people won't be able to do their own medical caring. So coming to the another factor, that is nothing but the types of gender inequality. What are the types of gender inequality? There are many kinds of the gender inequality or gender disparity. As one is inequality in the family, natality inequality, professional or employment inequality, the ownership inequality, household inequality. So these are the factors that majorly influencing the gender discrimination. So inequality in the family. Diverse proceedings have been equal for men and women since 1976. The divorce by mutual consent is legal, but in reality, any woman who initiates the divorce is condemned by the public opinion. So the divorce being equal for men and women, like if both means men or the women who don't want to have the who have the problem, then proceed for the divorce. But when a woman comes out saying like I want a divorce, then it is first of all condemned by the public. So for that reason, divorce are very rare. So many women are getting adjusted to that, or they get accustomed to the system and saying okay, let us live like this only. So that has come. So this comes where the opinion of the woman is not outside. According to the old Hindu traditions, they favored men in matters of inherent, like only sons and not daughters, so could inherit their parents. So, like some tradition, they want only sons and not daughters, but which is not decided by either of them, but they want the only such one gender of the person. So, this kind of things make again imbalance in the society. So, after independence, however, these traditions were abolished by the law, but in the north, nothing has really changed. Women are still deprived of inheritance. So, coming to the next factor, natality inequality. In this type of inequality, the preference is given to the boys over the girls. They that many male dominated societies have. So they want the only boys to be given the preference. So where it gives results in a male-dominated society. Gender inequality can manifest itself in the form of parents wanting the newborn be a boy rather than a girl. So this is the first and foremost factor that parents want only the boy kid, not the girl child. So this is where the imbalance is starting, and the discrimination is starting. Where there was a time when this could be no more than a wish. It's not like a daydream or nightmare, just depending on one's perspective. It is not that, but with availability of modern techniques to determine the gender of the fetus, sex selective abortion have become common in many countries. So because of the development, so to have the modern techniques to detect who is there in the womb, so it is detecting like whether it is a boy or a girl. So this is again causing more and more abortions. Like the common, it has become very common factor in many countries. But in the olden days, because all these techniques were not there, at least they had a wish, but they were not able to abort the children in the womb. So it is particularly prevalent in East Asia, in China and South Korea in particular, but also in Singapore and Taiwan. It is being to emerge as a statistically significant phenomenon in India and South Asia as well. So the people are getting scanned. Then once they get the girl child is inside, then again they get aborted this child, but because they want only boy child rather than a girl. Coming to the next factor, that is professional or the employment inequality. So where the women are treated unequal compared to the men in terms of employment as well as promotion in work and occupation. Women are often face greater handicap than the men. A country like Japan and India may be quite egalitarian in matters of demography or the basic facilities, and even to a great extent in higher education, and yet progress to get elevated levels of employment and occupation. So where woman is treated low, when a man and a woman are in a competition, so men is taken selectively than a woman. It seems to be much more problematic for women rather than a men. So the example it includes unequal pay at work, unpaid care work, etc., etc. So these are the factors that are affecting the general discrimination. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.